Our supply chain journey really started about 6 months prior to the acquisition of Maytag. Whirlpool acquired Maytag in March of 2006, and probably 9 months before that, Whirlpool had realized that it had focused on product and brand as a way to go after the marketplace. But as the marketplace had changed, the supply chain had really been something that we had neglected as a company. So we had started down the path of revamping our supply chain, changing the way we put our inventories into the marketplace. And what we found is, from a strategic perspective, we really had to focus on three things: changing the way we took orders, changing the way we delivered those orders, and then optimizing our cash flow. Then with the acquisition of Maytag, the complexity was just complicated by a factor of 2, because about the same size company. What we found is that the buildings that we both had needed to be consolidated. The technologies that we had needed to be optimized and consolidated. And then the way that we had products across the inventory, from an inventory perspective, the cash flow was probably about $200 or $300 million out of whack from what we wanted it to be. And so what we did, we started down that path already with our strategy in hand. We started looking at the order process. Primarily the order process with our trade partners before was they wanted a lot of inventory, they wanted to hold a lot of inventory, but we realized that their customers had changed, and they really were only in the marketplace when a customer would walk into their stores. They had only been in the marketplace for about 7 days. So when you think about that, they had not planned the purchase. Something was broken inside their house, and they needed to get that appliance quickly. And so the supply chain needed to be able to get that appliance to them really within 48 hours. So our redesign of our supply chain was based around how do we get our products to every home in America within 48 hours. And so we put in place the technologies. We changed our order processing system. We took the Maytag system and integrated that in with the Whirlpool system, and then changed some of our order fulfillment processes to really get down to how do we get visibility to those orders, and how do we turn them very, very quickly so that our trade partners don't have to carry as much inventory and can get those orders quickly to the homes of their customers. The second piece of our strategy was around managing the delivery. What we ended up with after the consolidation of Whirlpool and Maytag was about 184 buildings. We knew that we had to eliminate probably at least half of those facilities. And so over the last 2.5 years, we really got the opportunity to go into almost a greenfield and really say, where should our facilities be? What type of inventory strategy should we have? And how will we use them to optimize the delivery for our trade partners? We went in and basically eliminated 100 facilities, consolidated all of our major warehouses into 10 large regional distribution centers. Those distribution centers will all be complete by July of 2009, which will really have eliminated probably about $60 million worth of operating costs from our supply chain. When you think about what the facilities had to be, especially doing business in 2008, 2009, each one of those buildings had to be eco-friendly. We had to be able to optimize our employees' downtime and uptime and make sure that they had the absolute best tools. So putting new technology, new warehouse management systems in. And I think the one thing I would do differently if I had to do it all over again is get that building process started. Because even after the engineering was complete, we knew where we wanted our facilities. We were slow in getting, and when I say slow, it only took us a month or two to get started. But the process in some of these larger cities for a facility that's maybe 1 million or 2 million square feet can take a long time. And so I would get that started as quickly as possible. The last element of our strategy was really optimizing our supply and demand, or optimizing our cash flow. One of the big changes in the industry was that in the olden days, people would come in, they would kind of look at the inventory, they would plan a purchase for a long, long time. As I mentioned before, they're only in the marketplace for 7 days. We really had to think about, do we have the proper inventory placement to get that product into Mrs. Jones's home through our trade partners? So we made some changes in the way we looked at our demand planning, our supply planning. We're using new software and new technologies to give a better signal to our trade partner, not only to our trade partners, but our suppliers and our manufacturing facilities. And then the manufacturing facilities really have to go in and optimize, or what's called schedule actualization, literally to the day, and make sure that they know exactly what's coming off that line, because it's probably been sold to someone and it's already in that inventory plan. And so when you think about those three pillars of managing an order, managing the delivery, and then optimizing your cash flow, that's really been the focus of the last 2.5 to 3 years. We have, like I say, probably another 9 months to go until the consolidation is complete of the facilities. The technology will come out in 2 more releases, one in January of 2009, and then the final piece in January of 2010. And then our supply chain will be just about as optimist as it can be for the environment that we're in.